Hello, this is Lye Yosh. Today we're going to be talking about negativity, precisely depression or depressive symptoms. So, how's everyone doing? It feels like life is getting more and more intense as the years go by. We have a seemingly endless tug of war with COVID and the vaccine. Is it going to end? Is it going to not? We have so many global and domestic issues. Myself included, I understand that it's taking a lot out from a lot of us. 2020 in particular left a scar in all of us. Physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, economically, pretty much in every avenue you can think of. And what's even more challenging is the recovery process. And I'm not talking about the economic recovery. It's more of a personal recovery, getting back on your feet, going back to your job, or for some people, finding another job. And even if your life is not that severely damaged, it's tough being forced to quarantine or going through all that social and civil unrest, which perfectly describes 2020. And I can be here talking about what happened in 2020 forever, but my point is that after going through such a tough year, a lot of people show signs of depression or depressive symptoms. It's really hard to fight these issues because these are a long-lasting illness, so it won't be cured with a snap of a finger. And also, it lowers our motivation to get back on ground and go back to work. And because it takes a long time for us to recover, we'll be wasting a lot of time before that. And because you spent so much time trying to recover, you're going to be behind everyone else, and you're going to feel bad about yourself and lose motivation, and the negative loop continues. To combat this, people usually rely on medication, but medication might have a chance of having this weird side effect that you didn't expect. And there's a chance of your recovery process being counterproductive. That's the whole reason why opioid crisis happened. And of course, medication can effectively control these anxiety or these depressive symptoms for a moment, but in order to treat depressive symptoms, this has to be combined with extensive practice of psychotherapy or diet therapy or physical activity. The point being, you have to alter your life routine along with taking medication. And today's study is on this topic. So according to the study, it claims that the best way to fight against depressive symptoms is to make a hobby. And I'm going to talk about this in detail right away, but the reason why it's the best is because you can start from scratch, and it's of course free, and it serves as a way of distraction without any side effects, and it's suited for a long-time commitment since recovering from depression takes time as well. This study concludes that hobbies can be used to treat people who has even minor symptoms of depression, or when you're, simply not having your day. This study was done at the University College London on March 2020. It collected 8,780 participants. All of them were 50 years or older, with the average being 66.9 years old. And it studied the samples over 2004-5 to 2016 and 17. The study collected data of how much commitment the samples are putting into their hobbies and the scale of how much depressive symptoms they were showing during the later half of their lives. So basically, how likely they were going to get depressed when they get old, depending on how much commitment they were putting into their hobbies. So the data showed that 72.9% of the samples claimed that they have a hobby, okay? So 72.9% had a hobby. 15.6% of the samples were above the threshold of a depression, so they showed significant amount of depressive symptoms, after controlling any variables that might alter the system of the research. So they made it so that the only significant variables are the relationship between the amount of time commitment to hobbies and the depressive symptoms. The results went like this. So, having a hobby lowered the odds of becoming depressed by 30%. Having any hobby, I don't know, like reading, working out, hiking, video games, knitting, whatever. Overall, having any hobby lowered the odds of becoming depressed by 30%. The research also studied with samples who were not depressed, but didn't have a hobby either. The results showed that developing a hobby, again, lowered the chance of experiencing depression by this time 32%. So even if you're not showing signs of depression, developing a hobby right now would decrease the chance of becoming depressed in the future. Even at this point, it's pretty obvious that having a hobby has more positives than negatives. And I'm not even done yet. The research had one more thing to do, to study those who are already depressed, and to see how much of a decrease they'll see in their depressive symptoms. And the results are as followed. When the research studied the samples who are already depressed and did not have a hobby, they saw that developing a hobby resulted in a 272% chance of recovering from depression. I don't know how many percentage of people recover from depression using other therapies, but this is quite something to say the least. So the analysis is that there are a lot of effective therapy methods, medicinal, diet, exercise therapy, but we should also add a hobby therapy as well in order to combat depression. Even regular people who are not depressed can benefit from developing hobbies. in addition to developing new hobbies as you go. So me, for example, I would consider working out my hobby. It's a hobby because I like working out. I don't need anyone telling me to go work out because I'll be glad to do it. Because it's a hobby, I would do it consistently. I would work out like 5 or 6 times a week. That's pretty consistent, right? And as long as I'm like not sick or something, I would do it no matter what. Not only that, I would do it with focus and concentration. So no matter how bad the day treats me, I would give a consistent effort by doing the hobby. And the consistency stabilizes my mental state, allowing your daily productivity to not having to depend on how well you're feeling that way. You get what I'm saying? So like think about your hobby, right? It's a hobby because you like doing it. You like doing it, so you do it at a pretty consistent rate. Depending on how intense you get with your hobby, you can do it pretty much every single day. No matter what happens. You get a bad grade in school, you still do it. You get dumped, you still do it. You perform poorly in your work, you still do it. No matter how bad your day is, you're going to put in a consistent effort on your hobby. You're going to put a consistent effort in your hobby, which allows you to advance forward in your life with tangible results and consistent productivity, rather than how you feel that day. The point is, if your productivity depends on your emotion, then when you have a bad day, you're not going to be productive. If you are depressed, you're not going to be productive for a while. By having a hobby that you can happily do it consistently, you're going to be able to feel better and be calm and collected. If you are calm and collected, you will be able to know what to do in your life. And then you'll be able to take action, and by repeating that, your action will eventually lead to your definition of success. Whether that's getting that chiseled body, getting that A, getting that promotion, whatever. And also, you can benefit even more by adding new and different hobbies. So for me, what I do is that I assign myself with a challenge that I have to complete within that year. So I started this 2 years ago, where I started with restricting myself from eating snacks for the whole year. And then next year, I did 1 million jump ropes. And then this year, I'm doing what's called the planche. If you don't know what the planche is, so basically you position yourself in a plank position with your hands on the ground. But then you lift your feet up, lift your whole leg up, and then stay there for a moment. So you're going to be holding your entire weight on your hands. If you got confused, just look it up and look at the picture. And by the way, the people who are in the picture have their legs up for like a couple seconds. It's not just a moment. So yeah, pretty cool if you could do it, right? Well, I'll see you at the end of the year. I'm actually progressing really well, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, what I was trying to say is that I've been making new goals each year. And the stuff that I do every day would become my hobby. And then this small consistent action will lead to a great result at the end of the year. But then you might be saying, well, I don't think I can do something that drastic right now. I need something that's more simple and easy to start. And I got you an answer for that as well. This activity, you can do it actually right now on the spot, which is meditation. And I'm aware that there is just so many videos on YouTube about meditation and the importance of it and the benefits. And I don't want to be a new inclusion to that. I don't feel the need to make a video solely about meditation. So what I'm going to do instead is act as a connector. What do I mean by this is that I'm going to talk about some other issues that we all face and connect that back to meditation. And of course, there are other highly effective methods on how to combat these negative issues. So yeah, meditation is pretty important when it comes to bringing yourself up from a negative to a neutral, or even to a positive. And it's usually just more than, treating yourself from depression or stress. But oftentimes it can be a useful method in situations that you've never expected meditation to be the cure. So for example, meditation can be a useful method to stabilize your mental state. Now, this alone has been said by everyone, but what's important is the idea behind it. Because a lot of the self-development people say stuff like, you need to be confident to be successful. And they are kind of incorrect because you don't necessarily need to be confident to be successful. There are different stuff you need depending on your demand in life. But something that's almost always useful is the concept of understanding. See, what people say about confidence, it doesn't come from nowhere. It doesn't exist just for the sake of it. It's a result of understanding your surroundings or situations. If you try to sit down and understand the issue, you will have a calm and stable mind. If you have a calm and stable mind, you will be able to make calm and carefully thought out decisions, which you act upon. If you take action, some type of result will always come, and if you have a calm and stable mind all the way through, you will be able to make careful analysis based on the process and the result, and not be succumbed to emotion. If you scored under your expectation, you will only say, well, that didn't quite work out. Is there a better way to do it? If you score above your expectation, you'll say, good, let's keep it this way, or improve even more. And in order to stabilize your mental state, meditation can be a useful method. So I got a little off tangent on what I was saying, but the point is, our emotional state will shift no matter what we do. We'll always have a good day and a bad day. If you're feeling negative for a reason. So trying to convince yourself to feeling better will obviously not gonna work. So trying to control your emotional state is not the point. The important thing is to make sure whatever you're doing, whatever you deem as important in your life, make sure you are able to do that regardless of what emotional state you are in. And the things you deem as important can switch from meditation to work and even to hobbies. See what I did there? I just connected back to the main topic of the video. But yeah, I've talked enough for today, so time to end it with a book recommendation. Today I have for you a title called Full Catastrophe Living, Revised Edition, Using the Wisdom of Your Body and Mind to Face Stress, Pain, and Illness by John Kabat-Zinn. It's in the description, usual. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to Life Study Library. That'll be such a great form of help. And with that, you've been listening to Life Study Library, hosted by me, Lye Yosh. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!